today regarding the different levels of the eternity of the Torah. So now when a prophet first gets a prophet between Hashem and the prophet, not necessarily the prophecy will be fulfilled if the prophet doesn't tell to the Jewish people. And even when the prophet tells it to the Jewish people, if it's a negative promise, not necessarily the negative promise will be fulfilled. Even when the prophet tells it to the Jewish people. If it's a good prophecy and it will be fulfilled, it's not because, in essence, a good prophecy that a prophet says has to be fulfilled. It's only something technical. Hashem made it in order that we should be able to know if a prophet is a good prophet. Hashem made a sign. Hashem made it. Whatever good thing a prophet says, it's going to be fulfilled. But if the prophet doesn't, it doesn't make a difference. Even if they sin and even if whatever, right?
Really?
Yeah. If it's a good prophecy that the prophet tells the Jewish people, it has to be fulfilled.
Sin is really bad.
Right. Now regarding, but a mitzvah of Torah, a mitzvah of Torah is forever and ever, and it has to be fulfilled forever in this physical world. It's not because it's not something technical. Rather, just like Hashem has no change, Hashem has no change, right? Hashem can't change, chas v'shalom. Hashem is, in essence, forever and ever. Hashem is forever and ever. So too, whatever is one with Hashem, whatever is a part, Hashem's wisdom and desire is part of Him. So too, the eternity of Torah and mitzvahs is also forever and ever. It's not something that's forever in a technically forever or technically has to be fulfilled. Rather, this is part of Hashem. So just like Hashem is forever, so too Torah and mitzvahs is forever and ever. According to this, we can understand what is so unique regarding this, that the Geula becomes a part of a mitzvah and Torah. Why isn't it enough? This that Mashiach is going to come, the Geula is going to come, is a prophecy. It's a good prophecy that it must take place. What's not enough with that? Why do we need the Geula to become part of a mitzvah of Torah? So the answer is because that the Geula becomes a detail and a condition to fulfill a mitzvah of Torah. This makes the Geula have the same eternity as Torah itself. The Geula, the eternity of the promise of the redemption, is not only a technical thing, that because it's a good prophecy and God has to fulfill the good prophecy in order to figure out if someone's real, so therefore the Geula is going to come. No. Because Hashem is forever. Because Hashem in essence is forever, and the Geula is a part of Hashem's mitzvahs, which are forever, therefore the Geula is forever. That's why when the Rambam brings a proof for Mashiach, in a form that is connected to a mitzvah of Torah, therefore the Rambam brings that proof separately, not together with other proofs that he brings from promises, because promises are not in essence eternity, but Torah and mitzvahs in essence is eternity. And we're going to read this inside, page 43. Paragraph of Mizeh, move on. One page, don't worry. But I don't have a thing to clip it on. Okay. Mizeh, move on. Le'inin haftachas ha'geula. Ta'av sheli yes haftacha l'toiv. V'mash hamar HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'navi leftich levin yadam b'v'surah teva yevsha shizbatl. V'pnei grimas ha'chait. So too regarding the promise of the redemption, even though the promise for the redemption is a good prophecy, and a good prophecy must be fulfilled, like the Rambam says, any prophecy that Hashem tells a prophet to tell over to the Jewish people and it's something good, it must be fulfilled. It's not possible for it not to be fulfilled even if the Yidden do Averis. And even more so, says the Rebbe, regarding the redemption, it's not even possible for the Yidden to do Averis to such an extent that Hashem will decide that He doesn't want to bring the Geula. Like it says, in our case, it's not possible to say that maybe Yidden are going to do so much Averis and Hashem won't want to bring the redemption. But because it's a good prophecy, so Hashem is going to be forced to bring it anyways. No. It won't be possible for the Jewish people to be in such a state that they'll be doing Averis and Hashem will want to bring the Geula. The Yidden will for sure be in a good state that Hashem will bring the Geula because of the Yidden's actions. The Rambam says the Torah promised that the Yidden will do tshuva in the end of Galus, and they will be redeemed right away. The Torah says, the Torah promises that the Yidden will be doing tshuva in the end of the time of the Galus, and then they will be redeemed. The most perfect tshuva that needs to be done.
Tshuva ka'alacha?
Yeah, tshuva ka'alacha. Shenamar, it says in the pasuk, "V'haya ki yavayu alecha kol advarim again." When all of these things are going to happen to you, the pasuk continues, "V'shavta ad avay lekecha." You will return till the Eibishter. That's what the pasuk says. Before the redemption.
Before the redemption, there's going to be tshuva, or after?
Before the redemption, when they are in Galus, in the end of the time of exile of Galus, that's when the Torah is going to make us. The Torah promises, and the Torah is going to make us do tshuva. And then right after that, we're going to do tshuva. The pasuk continues, "V'shav Hashem alikecha." Hashem will return you to Eretz Yisrael. So the Torah promises that we will do tshuva and we will be redeemed. Hainu shehuftuchanu while ze gufa Yisrael yasu tshuva v'lo yeh matzav shel yigrem hachet. So we were promised on this itself that the Yidden will do tshuva, and it's not even possible to say that Hashem is going to be forced to bring the Geula because he promised, and that's why the Geula is going to come. It's not possible to say such a thing. It's not possible to say we're going to be doing Averis and the Geula is going to come by force. According to the Rambam brings from a pasuk that for sure, 100%, we will do tshuva in the end of the time of Galus, and Hashem will redeem us. So the good prophecy will for sure will be fulfilled because we're going to be doing tshuva. Nevertheless, this eternity is only because of what? It is because of the different types of eternity of prophecy. Prophecy is not necessarily having it a eternity that it's not possible to change. It's not so regarding this that the Geula becomes part of a mitzvah of Torah, the eternity of a mitzvah of Torah. That's not only that technically it has no change, rather in essence, Torah and mitzvahs do not change. A mitzvah of Torah is not possible to change. What is the uniqueness that the Geula becomes part of a mitzvah of Torah? Through this, that the Geula becomes a detail of a mitzvah, the Geula gets the eternity just as a mitzvah of Torah, which means it's not only a technical eternity, rather it is a eternity in essence. It's not only because it's a prophecy and it's a good prophecy and it has to take place and whatever, so it's going to happen. But what type of quality is it? It's not a prophecy, it's not a promise, it's not something that is above of change. There's things that are technically not changing. Yes? You can have a stick of wood. Why isn't it falling down? Because something else is holding it, that's holding it, this and this. Why isn't it bending with the wind? Because it's getting support from a whole bunch of side things. Then you can have a stick of metal that's grounded in the floor and it's standing thick and heavy like this. So why isn't it bending? Not because something else is holding it up and something else supporting it, but because it itself is made out of some thick, heavy-duty, strong metal. It's not a piece of wood that could bend or something and break and crack, and just all these side things are holding it up. So too, this that the Geula is part of a good prophecy, and that's why it's going to take place and it's going to happen. It's not because it's not that the prophecy, in essence, is such a type of a quality thing that must happen and it must take place, and it's not possible to change. We see that prophecies could change if it's not a good prophecy. A good prophecy between Hashem and the Navi could change because it's only between Hashem and the Navi. And this, that even a good prophecy that a Navi tells to the Jewish people and it will take place, it's not because it must take place, it's because Hashem made a condition that it technically will happen in order that we should know who's a real prophet. But the eternity of mitzvahs, of Torah, it's not possible to change. In essence, it doesn't change. Why? Because it's part of Hashem. Just like Hashem cannot change, so to Hashem's desire and wisdom doesn't change. Therefore, this, that the Geula is part of a mitzvah of Torah, it gets the eternity of a mitzvah. Just like a mitzvah is part of Hashem and doesn't change, so too the Geula is part of Hashem, part of Hashem's desire, and it cannot change. Ches. But still, now we can still ask a simple question. This that the Torah is eternity and it never changes is in all parts of the Torah. Right? All parts of the Torah. Especially the 5 books of Moshe Rabbeinu, the Chumash. Like the Rambam writes. So now we're continuing in page Mem Gimel Seif Ches. There's still room for a question. This ruling that all parts of Torah, this ruling that the Torah is forever, because it's a part of Hashem, this is in all parts of the Torah. Like the Rebbe brings in the footnote, the every single part of the Torah, every letter of the Torah, of the Chumash, also the Nevim and Ksuvim, everything is forever and ever. Especially the 5 books of Moshe Rabbeinu is forever and ever. Like the Rambam writes, that the 5 books of Moshe Rabbeinu are never ever going to be, are never bottled, forever and ever. They're always there forever. Everything that's written in the Torah of Moshe is forever, and it exists itself, it's eternity, and it exists forever. Kevon Shaftach Zakarish Baruch Hu Kulam Fureshes Materas Meisha Kvar Chalal Zay Gather Anitchit Shal Chamishichum Sheitera Omani Taitsav Bezal. They're not in essence forever. Torah is in essence forever, but this itself is not so simple that everything in Torah in essence is forever, and it has to be physically forever. Mitzvahs got to be physically forever. Torah can be forever, no change spiritually, or forever if on a condition, if you won't do an Aveda, which means Hashem can make a condition. In the Torah it says, I'm going to give you rain and whatever if you do Torah and mitzvahs the way it's meant to. This, that the Yidden would enter Eretz Yisrael the second time just as the first time, it's possible that what? That it's on a condition. If you don't do Avedas, you'll enter the second time just like the first time physically. You'll do Avedas, you won't enter the second time just as you enter the first time with right? Just one moment. We said now we can understand why it is so unique and special with this, that the Geula is part of a mitzvah of Torah. What's so special with this, that the Geula is part of a mitzvah of Torah? To be cause of the Geula is a detail, is a part, is a condition. To fulfill the mitzvah of Ari Mikol, so the Geula has the same status and level of a mitzvah. What is so special about that? The Geula gets the eternity of a mitzvah of Torah, Asher Aleph. The Geula must come. Literally, simply, physically, the most literal physical sense. A person can't say the Geula is some spiritual redemption like it's in Torah. The eternity of Torah could be in a spiritual way, in a spiritual sense. Other parts of the Chumash could be fulfilled spiritually. A mitzvah of Torah needs to be fulfilled physically. So the Geula is a literal physical Geula, not some spiritual. A person can't come and say the Geula is some spiritual event. The Geula doesn't mean literally a redemption through Mashiach. Literally we're going to return to Eretz Yisrael. So it's some spiritual. No! The Geula is a mitzvah of Torah. If there's just a proof from the first 2 proofs we'll return to Eretz Yisrael, Parshas Bilam, someone might be able to say that it's a spiritual redemption. This is what's so unique, that it's a physical redemption. Please keep reading. And 2, also, it is not possible, because what's the difference between a mitzvah of Torah and other parts of Torah, other prophecies of Torah? It's, even if we know that it's going to take place, but it's not in essence something that's for sure going to take place. Technically it takes place. With this, that it's part of a mitzvah of Torah, it on its own, it's not even possible to change. It's not that in the end of the day it won't change, but it's not possible for the redemption not to happen and must take place. It has to take place, just like Hashem is real, Torah mitzvahs is real, and it's physically real. That is what's so special regarding the mitzvah, this that the Gula becomes part of the mitzvah of Torah. And the Rabbi asks over here an interesting question in the footnote. So the question is, how could someone say the Gula is some spiritual redemption? The simple meaning of the pasuk is kipshutai. It says Eid Mikra Yitzim Pshutai. You can open a Parshas Nitzavim. Over there, it clearly sounds, you're talking about Yidden going to Eretz Yisrael, and a person is not able to say that this prophecy is some spiritual thing that is going to take place. The Nevuah of Bilam is not a clear prophecy, so maybe a guy can say it's a ruchnistic thing. And so to this, the Amzukonisa, this that the second entrance to Eretz Yisrael is just like the first entrance. A guy could say it'll take place spiritually. Why? Because it doesn't have to be literally like that. But the promise that we're going to return to Eretz Yisrael, says that first of all, who says according to the Rambam that, especially according to the Rambam, do we say Eid Mikra Yitzim Pshutai refers to promises of Torah? Eid Mikra Yitzim Pshutai means psukim of Torah. But to say that a prophecy of Torah will be interpreted as a literally, who says that's what the Rambam writes? The Rambam writes physically. The Rambam writes that only if someone takes away a mitzvah from it. Pshat is a Rosh Hashanah. It's not a promise of Torah. And also the Rambam says in the beginning of chapter 12 that the prophecy, the wolf will lie with the lamb, it doesn't need to be kipshuta. It could be it's a mashal v'chida. So the Rambam could also say, someone could say that the first two proofs also are a mashal v'chida. It's not literally, and that's what's so special about the second proof. And Beis Reila Kaman Bifnim Seif Siftas Nafkamina La'Alach B'Zeh Shitanayu Prat B'Mitzvah V'Adayin Tzarichin. So the Rebbe says another later on the Rebbe is going to explain what's so important regarding this, that it's part of the mitzvah. So basically what we're saying over here is the uniqueness of this, that the Gula is part of a mitzvah of Torah, is this, that it is literally and it's not possible to change. We want a Mashiach now. Take it from Yad Mamash.
Thank you.